What's up? How are you guys tonight? We're going to do another general Q&A. So whatever you guys would like to talk about, probably mostly nutrition questions, and then whatever is in the news lately. Right before I went live, I was reading an article like Toyota Corolla has mutated to now bypass masks. And it's kind of funny because you wonder how stupid people are. At like what point are they going to realize that it's all just a bunch of fake nonsense to control people? But I had two other articles. One was, will we be wearing masks forever? Here's what experts think. And they basically saying, yes, you're going to be wearing masks for a while. And I think there was another article too that I don't know what I did with it. But I saw one article, mosquitoes can now inject people with the vaccine. Just more and more fear-mongering nonsense every single day. Do you guys remember COVID toes? What happened to COVID toes? And what happened to the bees that were going to kill everyone too? How much beef liver per day is a safe amount to eat? Most people don't need to eat liver because they already have too much vitamin A. The problem is liver is really, really nutritious. The only, well, let me rephrase that. On one hand, liver is really, really nutritious. On the other hand, it has usually more vitamin A than people need. So yeah, it's a good way to get a lot of B vitamins and minerals, but you usually overload yourself with vitamin A before that happens. But how are you guys tonight? Hopefully some people from Europe are joining us tonight. I know it's a little bit late over there. Best supplements to take alongside vitamin D3. Usually to fix a vitamin D3 deficiency, people have to supplement for a decent dose, maybe like 10,000 IU for 6 to 7 months. But after that point, their vitamin D3 levels are already saturated. Usually it's a matter of getting enough vitamin K2, MK4, as well as enough minerals and B vitamins. So an article that said, yeah, I just mentioned that, Kylie. Frank, you have to do a at-home video on preparing sashimi-grade fish. The main problem with fish is, one, oceans are very polluted, and two, accessibility to fish is limited to high-end sushi restaurants, really. I know a decent amount. I know a decent amount on like restaurant and food sourcing, and they basically have fish flown in from Japan or wherever every single day, fresh, and the fish that you get in the supermarket is nowhere near that quality or that freshness. So it's hard to really justify consuming fish on several fronts. I do. That's why I like the canned fish a lot, and certain preparations of fermented fish, as well as fish roe, because it's the most nutritious part of the fish. But to actually get like high quality sashimi grade fish is going to be expensive, difficult, and for anyone wondering, oh well, what makes a fish sashimi grade versus not sashimi grade? Basically, how fresh the fish is. There's nothing special about sashimi grade fish. Some people might try to argue that. Oh well, they freeze it to kill the worms and parasites, but most fish has worms in it anyway. So if you're going to be eating a lot of fish, you better get used to finding some worms. Vitamin D makes me feel dizzy or causes headaches. Sometimes culprit. That's probably directly hypercalcemia. The vitamin D will. On one hand, I think I mean it's hard to say because both of them can cause similar issues. Vitamin D can cause calcium levels to raise in the blood. It can also cause vitamin A to be released from the liver, which can also cause usually hypercalcemia related. Trader Joe's sells fresh wild swordfish. I mean, swordfish is probably the only fish you shouldn't eat from a mercury perspective. Saw an article that corona is mutating to restore brain function in politicians. Well, that's not possible because they're all a bunch of crazy assholes that are just pawns to control us. When you change off the carnivore diet, what carb sources are you looking to consume? I haven't really decided on that yet. I'm not really a fan of. I mean, all the carb sources have their downsides, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll see what I feel better eating. There's not really too many options. You have like organic potatoes, you have organic grains, you have you have some fruits, but have you had any clients with 5 levels of mercury in their hair mineral, high levels of mercury in their hair mineral analysis? Mercury. I've seen people with, like, I mean, it depends on what you consider high mercury. You probably shouldn't have any mercury. I've had a couple clients with like some mercury in their hair mineral analysis, but usually it's usually not the main point of focus or concern. I have had a couple people that have had very high aluminum levels in their hair mineral analysis, which is from cooking with aluminum and using aluminum deodorant. So that's usually something we focus on removing. I've seen people with arsenic, but usually the mercury and arsenic stuff is from the water source or just they're eating too much canned food. Get a haircut. Yeah, I've been really wanting to get a haircut, but mainly just for the appearance on the YouTube channel. I'm getting kind of sick of the way the hair looks. My hair looks okay when I like wet it and put it down, but if it's pulled back, if it's messy, it doesn't look good. I think it looks okay if it's like wet and it's down, like it looks long. It looks okay, but I don't put in the effort to do that every day, so I have to probably just cut it. Why do I always feel like organic white rice is getting stuck in my stomach? Don't have that with other carbs. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that too when I've tried it, and I've also pretty much everyone that has tried rice also says the same thing. It probably has to do with them removing a lot of the fiber from the starch. Usually, there's a reason most carbohydrates in nature have fiber present with them, because when there's no fiber in a carbohydrate source, sometimes it can really get stuck in the stomach and not digest. And the main issue with that is that's why the pure glucose honey we have is a good option, because it doesn't have fiber and it's pure glucose, so it gets absorbed very quickly into the small intestine. But if you consume a starch or a fructose or sucrose or something that requires enzymes to be digested and it gets stuck there, if glucose gets stuck, it's just getting absorbed. It's going to be consumed very quickly. If starch gets stuck because it's low fiber, then it's just going to get eaten by the gut bacteria and cause dysbiosis. And the starch is basically stuck there waiting for the enzymes to be produced by the body. So different races have different tolerance to eating rice, and usually when these Japanese or whatever Asian country, whatever races eat that they typically eat rice, they usually eat it with very specific foods, and they usually eat pretty small amounts of it consistently throughout the day. So instead of having a giant bowl of rice, look at what bodybuilders do. Bodybuilders usually portion out 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many grams of rice, but not grams, ounces. They portion out a certain amount of rice for every meal. White rice doesn't have anti-nutrients. I mean, people really overstate anti-nutrients. Anti-nutrients are definitely a concern in some foods, but when people blanket anti-nutrients to just all foods in general, it's kind of incorrect. What are your thoughts on the croissant diet? I think I've heard of that, but I don't remember what it is. Kimchi is okay with SIBO. No, generally with SIBO, you really don't want to eat any probiotic, especially if it's in the small intestine. You don't want any probiotics. Is there a good way to not get too much calcium consuming a lot of dairy? Well, when you're doing carnivore, phosphorus is antagonistic to calcium. And the main concern when you're eating a lot of dairy is just that you're getting enough magnesium. Is your book on Amazon digital or paper? My book on Amazon's available in all formats. So it's available in paperback, Audible, and Kindle. I think I would have died if I tried your full day of eating from today. Yeah, I didn't feel too good after I did that. Too much histamine. How much copper supplement tablets is necessary every day? Usually 6 to 8 milligrams to start after being on carnivore diet is needed to fix the deficiency and feel better. Is there a way to build muscle on a cut, or is this a fallacy for a natural? You can put on muscle in a deficit, but it's not. It's going to be. You need to be to answer that question. If you're consuming enough calories, if you're consuming enough protein to put on muscle, you can put on muscle, but and lose weight at the same time. Yes, but it also depends on your hormone levels. If your testosterone is normal, with all the estrogen and plastics and stuff in our modern environment, it can be hard to do. And also EMF, Wi-Fi. If you reduce Wi-Fi and you eat enough protein, basically you should be able to put on muscle while losing weight. Is it safe to drink the raw dairy from XYZ farm? So for me, from a liability and legal standpoint, I don't like answering this question. But what I can say is, do you think it's safe to eat? Do you think it's safe to eat beef tartare or sashimi, or do you think do you think it's safe? It's kind of ridiculous. People eat raw fruit all the time, but raw fruit or raw vegetables that were grown in shit, but they have a problem with eating raw meat or raw milk. Like, that should answer your question there. And from a legal and liability perspective, if you guys ask me if you should be eating like a raw food, that's like, what are you gonna? It's silly. If you understand what bacteria actually is, you wouldn't be asking that question. The problem with bacteria basically occurs with unnatural sources. So what we mean by that is, in order to create an unnatural strain of bacteria, you need an unnatural environment. So when you start using things like antibiotics and hormones and things that get people sick, and people have nutrient deficiencies, when people get sick from modern things, then their waste gets recycled into the ecosystem, whether it's urine or feces, into the fertilizers, into whatever, and that goes in our food source. That's where we start having issues. And same thing with when you grow corn in a conventional style, and you're spraying it with all these agrochemicals, and there's all this shit in it, and you're feeding the animals stuff, and the animals get sick. When the animals get sick and they mutate these strange, like really strong strains of E. coli and stuff, and then when you slaughter the animal, if that, I explained this in my raw meat safety video, if that mutated strain of E. coli or salmonella, that very strong strain, gets on the meat, then you get it, you're going to have a bit of a problem. And to understand what happens is, usually the animal's stomach gets more acidic, it gets more volatile, and the bacteria adapts to live in that volatile environment. But it's basically modern problems cause bacteria mutations, and those types of bacteria can make people sick. Why do most people pee out excess iodine, and my levels shot me to 400 and sent me into a thyroid storm? Iodine is something that's needed in a very small amount consistently over a long period of time. So if you have an iodine deficiency, it's not like you can just overload your body with iodine. What you have to do is you have to consistently take a low dose of iodine over a longer period of time, and then your body will detox the negative halogens that are bound to those substances. But you don't want to maybe, I don't remember what I talked about in my iodine video, but I think I went over that stuff, and I also think I went over that in my halogen toxicity video. When did you start TRT? I've never used any synthetic hormone, and I weigh like 150 pounds. So it's ridiculous how every single video I make, like these secret society assholes are shitting their pants that they didn't have the idea first. Like, they're mad that they're mad that none of these carnivores look as good as me, so they can't market bodybuilding products. They're mad they didn't come up with glucose honey, so they started talking shit about glucose. Yet they're pushing fucking regular honey. It's people trying to discredit me in every which way whatsoever. And what they're doing now is claiming that I use steroids when I'm the only fucking person on YouTube that's I'm like the only person on YouTube, natural bodybuilder, that's ever even taken drug tests. And they're accusing me of being a fake natty. And I watched Fouad Albied's podcast, I think, today, and they had this natural pro bodybuilder. This guy went pro as a natural. Like fuck off. Like, people believe that bullshit. Like, go take a fucking hike. Like, no way. What's your opinion on highly branched cyclic dextrin as a source of energy pre-intra-workout? I wanted to offer dextrose and dextrin products on my website as glucose sources, but after researching what goes into those products and how they're made, it's something that I wouldn't consider healthy. That's why I was really excited that we came out with the glucose product and that we have something to offer people. Big Broccoli is paying Frank to be omnivore by the end of the year. It has more to do with fat soluble vitamin balance, and you can't really balance fat soluble vitamins if you're eating a ton of animal fat. It's difficult to do, at least with my body frame and my digestive capacity. Did you see ex-vegan's response to your drug test? Yeah, the video he took down because he was incorrect. And people still bother me about. Have you ever thought about portioning the meat on Frankie's Free Range Meat instead of a huge lump of meat? Kind of like those 5-ounce premium steaks. I would pay premium on. Yeah, we got the 5-ounce sirloin steaks for that we got them in because we had a new machine to process those, but it's really labor intensive. The main purpose of Frankie's Free Range Meat was to offer people high quality animal foods at an affordable price, and we do want to portion out some things. I mean, I don't know what specific products you want to be portioned smaller, like those 5-ounce portions. Some people like those sirloin steaks that are portioned out into 5 ounces. Oh yeah, okay. Adam responded. We now have 1 pound chuck, hanger, and picanha steaks. Similar portions, more to come. Yeah, we're gonna put the brisket and the belly back down to the smaller portions. You know, on one hand, we kind of like keeping the meat portions a little larger, so it's fresher and it's nicer. But not everyone can keep 5, 6, 7 pounds of meat in their fridge for a week and eat it in time. Do you think there's any inherent benefit to remaining in ketosis? I did a video on, I was just looking at it yesterday. What is ketosis beyond the keto diet? Something like that. Where is everyone? This is the least amount of people I've ever seen in this stream. Yeah, we've had a lower amount of viewers ever since we came back, I guess. Not live streaming for a month, lose a lot of the viewership. Rat Boy completely flipped his opinion on fructose when you started selling glucose. That's funny. What did he say? He said fructose is okay now? Is that what he said? That's fucking hilarious. The fructose in the honey is the reason it gave me gout. That's why I removed the fructose from the honey. Second wave getting a massive media pump here in the UK. Very depressing. Rules getting much stricter. Yeah, they're ushering in the... Frank, someone said you're an agent. Yeah, that's why I'm the only person on YouTube getting censored. So now what these Mason pricks and Illuminati assholes are doing, since they can't fucking beat me at their own game, is they're claiming that I'm one of them. I'm an agent. He's fucking retarded. Where's my paycheck? What's my goal and my agenda if all I'm doing is exposing everyone else for being... The thing is, when you expose everyone else for being a sellout shill, they're probably going to call you the same thing to try to discredit you. What was I going to do? A video on... I'll just try to theorize why. Let me just write these notes down. Why do they want people out of cities? One possibility is reduced population in case of resistance, which is unlikely. One other possibility is keep poor people in cities to radiate and control them. The third possibility is crash all businesses in cities, then usher people back in. Okay, those are my sleep time notes that I forgot to take down. Why are lamb testicles called mountain oysters? I have no idea. Probably Google that. Well, Rat Boy and all the other carnivores are a member of a secret society known as the Freemasons. And what they basically do is there's a network of Freemasons, if you wonder why all of these personalities in nutrition tend to be on each other's podcasts. Their goal is to promote each other and make money off the masses and mislead people selling certain products. I mean, Dave Asprey, bulletproof bullshit guy, is the best example of this. Guy's made millions and millions of dollars scamming people on nonsense. And if you look at Dave Asprey and think, oh, he's the bulletproof guy, he's rich, he's famous, he made up all these ideas. What it really is, these Masonic operators, that one person isn't really making that much money themselves. They have a bunch of people below them and a bunch of people working with them to promote them. They're really just the face of the brand and the business, and they're a whole bunch of Masons making a whole bunch of money. That's how they do it. They share the money between all of them. They have their nice house, their nice cars, whatever they want, and they're rewarded with those monetary goods by misleading and deceiving people. But you know, you don't have to mislead people and deceive people to have a profitable business like what I'm doing. You know, if you think about it, how is it possible that some random guy from New York makes a meat company that is offering higher quality and more affordable meat than companies that have been in business 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's because, most people are fucking crooks and they just want money. It's funny how Ratboy just found out that copper can cure histamine intolerance. He watched your video 100%. I saw that someone DM'd me that tweet on Instagram the other day, and I just went on his Twitter and started spamming my histamine intolerance video. The guy literally just copies what I do 4 months. If you want to know what the carnivores are up to, just watch my videos from 4 months ago, and then you'll know what they're going to tweet about today. They're a bit 3 to 4 months behind, and they hope that people forget and don't remember that I made a video on the same topic. Blink 3 times if the Freemasons tried to negotiate you into a deal. Well, I wouldn't say they have the Freemasons approach me for a deal. Yeah, but it's not like they come up to you and say, "Hey, do you want to join the?" No, that's not how it works. They try to negotiate. One of their people comes up to you and they say, "Hey, you want to do a podcast? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do that?" And now I'm pretty good at identifying who they are, so I always say no. But they usually come up with a new guy every month that comes up to me. Hey, you want to collaborate with us on this research study? They usually try to steal some of my viewer base for their own viewer base, and the idea is you collaborate with them to the point where you join them. But I'm smarter than all of them combined, so I don't give a shit. I don't need anyone else. Were you on Corn Fakers? Yeah, that was before I knew about the Masons. Mainstream alternative medicine is controlled by the same people as mainstream big pharma. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video on how this doctor is pretty much killing my grandmother. There's very specific. When people take statins, they die in a certain way, and it's starting to happen to my grandmother. She started falling down. She lost her coordination. Her memory's going, and I went to this I think I did. There's probably a video on my YouTube channel. I don't remember when it was. I think it couldn't have been. It must have been like 6, 7, 8 months ago on my channel, where I think in a vlog I spoke about how I went to the doctor's office, to my grandma's doctor, and told him to stop giving her the statin, and he's still giving it to her. So I don't think that doctor would be too happy if I made a video titled "A Doctor is Killing My Grandmother," or and I think what would be even worse is 2, 3 months now, if my grandmother isn't here anymore because of this. Doctor killed my grandmother. I mean, the guy's probably retiring soon, but he'll never have any business again. And all doctors, all MDs are usually part of, in order to be a doctor, in order to be an MD, you generally have to be part of that secret society. And I literally told the guy, it's ridiculous. The doctors are killing my dad. He has MS. No, that's why I have I'm really, anyone that has an MD in their name, I have no problem calling them like, MDs or any medical doctor, they're in the Masonic secret society, and their goal is to deceive you and make money. And on one hand, they might tell you something that's good. On the other hand, they're gonna poison you. The 2 most popular carnivore keto doctors, think it's fine to eat conventional feedlot meat, so they appear as controlled opposition because they say, "Oh, meat is good for you," but they're shoving shit down your throat. Frank, juice testicles and sell it on Frankie's Naturals as injectable testosterone. I don't think you can do that. Do you wash your body with African black soap? Yes. Top favorite ways to eat lamb testicles? I just chop it up and swallow it down, dude. Are there harsh withdrawal symptoms going off statins? No, I took my grandma's statins away once, and she got a lot better over the course of a week or two, but now it might be too late. Make the video before it's too late. I don't know what the repercussions of making that video would be, because I don't give a shit what happens to me personally or my family, because none of my family likes me anyway, and I don't give a shit what they think about me because they're all a bunch of brainwashed loonies. So, I don't push it. I don't push it. I just tell I literally told my mother like 3 times. I usually don't tell people things more than once, but I explained to my mother 3 times, look, my grandma's down in the Bronx. She's getting radiated. She's on statins. I actually told my mother 6, 7 months ago when I went to see that doctor, I said, look, your mother isn't going to be, I literally told her she's not going to live past this year if she stays there, because my grandmother is in a high Wi-Fi environment in the Bronx. They just installed some new towers down there, and she's taking a statin. So my knowledge of health and nutrition and the state of my grandmother and the oxidative stress factors in the lifestyle, I was like, there's no way she's going to live down here another year. There's no way her body can take it. And I was right. 6 months after I told my mother that, my grandma's in the hospital because she fell down. So I don't know. Freemasons always want to get people who have a large audience. My dad is a priest and they wanted him. They use people. If you look at a track record of how any of these Masons get into the public spotlight in nutrition, look at what Rat Boy did. Rat Boy spoke to a bunch of smaller podcasts, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. They basically get them on smaller podcasts. They steal the spotlight from people, and they promote and they promote and they promote and they promote. But the reason these Freemasonic plants, some of them are even CIA agents, the reason these government plants get so many viewers is because what I said earlier, their goal is to make a bunch of people a lot of money. They are promoting other Masonic-run businesses. And if you pay attention, there's a lot of, you'll see a lot of triangle logos and like Illuminati and Masonic signs on company logos. I think Frigidaire is one, like Frigidaire has a triangle in the place of the A. There's a lot of Masonic symbolism. You got really woke recently, Frank? Yeah, it's kind of funny how the reason I found out about secret societies and the New World Order was because some asshole plagiarized one of my videos. I got so, like, it's kind of funny. Like, the guy, like, honestly, the guy should have just fucking apologized for stealing my information, and they should have just sent him back to his vegan diet and just recycled the guy. Instead, they had the guy push the plagiarism and push the nonsense, and I found out that all of these fucking carnivores are in a secret society and they're misleading people. You think they would know when to cut their losses as opposed to have someone figuring things out. Are veggies bad? Well, I mean, vegetables in most cases don't really offer anything you need from a nutrition perspective. And the mineral content of most vegetables isn't significant. So the only thing a vegetable might offer could be like fiber for gut motility. I don't really see, maybe flavor if you enjoy them, but most vegetables, don't taste good. So I don't really think vegetables are healthy from most perspectives. The reason some plant foods can be healthy is if they order like caloric energy or vitamin C. White rice more likely to spike insulin levels? People focus too much on the blood sugar, the insulin spiking stuff, when that doesn't really matter. Why do you recommend 15 to 45 milligrams dose for K2, MK4 when our ancestors only ate between X amount? One, because your gut synthesizes K2 and it's hard to know what amount that is. Two, because most people have severe deficiencies and it takes a while to fix it. Well, no, the purpose of, I think I just said it. If a plant food is giving you a high amount of caloric energy, that's a reason to eat it. But that's about it. Sverige could be an agent. Yeah, I think Sverige joined. He's probably a low-level Illuminati member at this point because he hasn't he hasn't spoke about certain things, and he steals people's money. So that's usually what they do. Do you know what a tan is? Raw Ride, you didn't email me about your consulting services to keep me updated on the Del Rey Misfit stuff. I see the jaw swelling went down. How does it feel? Has my sleep improved? My sleep was better when I went outside and grounded for a day, and then I slept pretty well. I think there's just too many magnetic fields and too many magnetic fields in my parents' house, and I need to either move out to the farm sooner than later or figure out a sleeping problem. Canned sardines for omega-3 for on a budget. Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are probably okay. No, leaching copper into water doesn't make much of a difference. Do you recommend the Kerrygold cleanse? What is Kerrygold trying to sell butter now? He is cucked and a Swede. I'm repeating myself. Or Swedes cucks. What's your opinion on advanced glycation end products? I have a video titled Meat Myths Debunked. AC electric fields. I think you could plug in filters to your wall. After years of high dosing K2 MK4, could I lower the dose eventually? I think after 1 or 2 years maybe. Why do I get lightheaded, dizzy while standing up? Could be a lack of caloric energy in your diet. I have several videos on water, Cristiano. It's 4 eggs, 1 banana, 4 strawberries, bad to mix. I mean, some people have problems with eggs, but that's not that bad. Even if you get a reverse osmosis filter, there's still some things you can't take out of the water. Any issues with organic heavy cream from Whole Foods? I mean, it's better than most stuff, but if you're going to pay that much for heavy cream, you might as well go to the farm and get the good stuff, the raw cream, grass-fed from the farm. What's your opinion on Nofap? I personally cannot go to sleep without it, without jerking off. I think males biologically are meant to ejaculate on a somewhat frequent basis, because if you think about the purpose of being alive in general, the purpose is to reproduce. So pretty much all of the nutrients that you're eating are going to be prioritized in the health of the sperm in your body. So you would assume that a male is meant to ejaculate at least on a daily basis to impregnate as many females as possible. So I would argue that Nofap is actually worse than, from that natural perspective, like, I would assume that something even happens in the DNA when you don't ejaculate and when you don't have sex, because if the environment's telling your body that there's no females to have sex with, I think your DNA and everything might start changing to be more about surviving on your own. So I think if you're in an isolated environment where there's no females at all, I think Nofap would only be practical from a natural perspective as a very long-term investment. The man would have to take care of his offspring. Well, I don't really know about that. Females have to take care of the babies, and the male is always just procuring the resources. Wow, what did I say? I don't know. I don't know what the logic is behind the Nofap stuff, but I'm surprised no one has an answer behind what actually happens to the nutrients if your body doesn't ejaculate them. I'm curious. Lemonade is fucking with my enamel. Yeah, you could use like an acerola powder or like a camel powder, and that shouldn't be as acidic. So the men would just leave the woman and the baby. I don't really know what questions I don't really know what questions you guys are asking. I'm not really answering a question. I'm just giving you some thoughts on it. Like, okay, like I'm telling you, like, all right, well, if you're in a society, it doesn't make sense to not ejaculate. But if you were in an environment that did not have female temptation, then it would make sense to not ejaculate. But don't monkeys jerk off in the woods or something? There's a lot of single, vulnerable women and babies. Oh, well, no, there's a lot of single mothers. Can Nofap be an agenda for depopulation? I mean, all of these agendas, divide and conquer, are to basically, it's reaching the end goal of the New World Order agenda in some way whatsoever. We're not monkeys, bro. I think a lot of you are monkeys. Or a lot of people are monkeys. Guys, I don't know. I don't really have answers to this stuff. This is not the main focus of my channel. I can tell you how to have healthy children and babies, but how many girls you should get pregnant, I don't really have a good answer for. That's up to you. Oh, so we'll wrap this up early if we keep getting a bunch of nonsense questions, but we'll see. Opinions on eating octopus? I mean, it's nutritious, but it's a bit hard to prepare and get. But if you have like juice head monkeys, ooh, oh, that was funny. Yeah, one of the tactics of these people that are harassing me and basically my competitors on YouTube, they basically turn whatever you say and accuse them of, they'll turn it around on you. So if I accuse these people of using, like, if I pretty much say, well, all these fitness influencers are using steroids, they'll try to say the same thing about me. And when you have a lot of people saying something about you, it ends up becoming the truth in some capacity. Why am I allergic to shellfish? Usually the reason you have an allergy is that there's something in the food, or like that's not supposed to be there, or like they sprayed pesticides on it, or you have a gut issue or a liver issue or a nutrient imbalance. Have you had venison? Yeah, we had some on Frankie's Strange Meat a couple months back. Yeah, but is the Streamlabs link for this Tufano account ever going to support donations? What, the link doesn't work for donations, the Streamlabs? I think we had a donation last live stream. Do something for the Streamlabs I can't donate. Let me hold on. Let me check that now, since we're about to. I was gonna end the live stream anyway. Let me just take a look at that. Or I don't know where to look on this Streamlabs stuff. So dashboard. Oh, you got to go into. I mean, I don't know if Streamlabs is just poorly designed or what, but all right. So there's zero donations, all widgets. Donation. So it's streamlabs.com/Frank Tufano. Well, what's the current link under the live stream? Streamlabs.com/Frank Tufano. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. It should be. I don't know why it's not working. Are you guys donating and it's not popping up, or it's just not letting you donate? Yeah, everyone is becoming addicted to their phone. Hasn't everyone already been addicted to their phone? What do you want? What do you wash your clothing with? I used to just use a little. When I was on my own, I would just use a very, 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 very tiny amount of detergent. Now I'm at my parents'. My parents basically follow me around and pick up my clothes as soon as I take them off. They're fucking nuts. They'll literally wash one T-shirt in the washing machine. I feel like I live in a laundromat because the washing machine's always running. Do you think dry areas are more likely to be blue zones because there's less mold? I don't think that has much to do with the blue zone. There's no donation option. All right, I'll take a look at it later. Yeah, I couldn't stay in an apartment anymore because I can't sleep in the high Wi-Fi environments. So as much as I would like to stay by myself in an apartment somewhere, I couldn't actually physically sleep in it. So I have to basically move. I'm trying to find a property to move to, and I can't afford to buy a house and a farm. So I need to just do one. Like, I could probably afford a mortgage on a house that's a little bit north of here and just live somewhere myself, but then I wouldn't be able to purchase the farm property. So if it was up to me, I would have bought a house probably last year already, but right now I can't because I need the money for the farm. And I spent a lot of money. I lost a lot of money on my business ventures, so that too. So guys, we'll wrap this up in 5 minutes. Why don't you buy a farm in Texas? I don't really like it. I don't really want to explain it, but basically, my business partner is stuck in New York, so part of the business is going to stay in New York for now. And either way, we kind of need like an East Coast and a West Coast shipping hub for Frankie's Free Range Meat. Texas wouldn't really make any sense. Would we have been better off in Texas starting off? It probably would have been about the same. We would have if we started the meat business in Cali, it would have been better because we had a lot of Cali customers. But I think that might be changing now. So we'll see. Are you gonna live on the farm? I probably have to work partially. When do you think the farm will be up and running? I haven't found the property yet, so I don't know. Do natural bodybuilders lose their hair? There are very few bodybuilders that are genuinely natural, but your hair loss is going to be determined mostly on your genetics. I would argue that you have a lower chance of losing your hair as a natural bodybuilder. What about Pennsylvania? The Pennsylvania land's really expensive. Millions. It's like $3-4 million for a farm in PA. It's Lancaster brand is very expensive. We can't afford it. Is Sky Blue Farm still the planned name? Well, if the farm already has a name, I'm not going to change the name of the farm. But if it's Adam's a wanted man in 49 states. You got a girlfriend? I kind of gave up on the dating scene. What is genetics? I thought it's your nutrition and EMF. What did I say is genetics? Will you risk intestinal growth from high levels of testosterone similar to steroids? I don't know. I'm sure there's some mechanism that testosterone increases certain things. Well, I mean, testosterone increases bone growth in certain areas, right? So I'm sure it might do something to your organs too. Frankie's Free Range Sauna. Hair loss, you said it's genetic? No, I mean, yeah, well, I meant by genetics, I meant nutrition, environment, that type of stuff. Your nutrition, your environment, what you've eaten for your whole life determines basically whether you're going to lose your hair or not. Why do you use honey in plastic bottles? I don't. When did you see me use honey in a plastic bottle? I usually try to get it from glass. Guys, we're going to end the Instagram live stream and we'll just be on YouTube for a few more minutes if you guys want to join us. My battery's about to die. What are your macros pre-workout versus post-workout? Any different? I don't usually do pre or post-workout meals. Will you do the hair loss book? I haven't decided on that one yet. How do you remove the fructose from honey? Wouldn't you guys like to know? Like, you guys are asking, like, basically why I have... That's a stupid thing to ask. If I told you guys how I made the high glucose honey, then there'd be some Freemason asshole selling it next week and he'd make $1 million on it. Here from Instagram, what's popping? Are white potatoes bad for you? Well, they're probably the only potato you should be eating. Frank is selling regular honey, Lamo. Well, you could tell that the high glucose honey we sell isn't honey because glucose has a very specific taste to it. So if you buy like a pure glucose powder and taste it, it'll have the same sweetness as the honey we sell, because glucose has a delayed sweetness to it. So you put the glucose in your mouth, and like a second or 2 or 3 later, the sweetness hits your tongue. That's how you can tell it's glucose primarily. I'm gonna try to find a lab to test the glucose percentage on the honey. I said it was 95% plus glucose. That's an estimation. I'm assuming it's around 90 or 95% glucose. So I'm going to get a lab, and isn't the glucose honey not that sweet? Yeah, it's not that sweet. You can't really use it it's hard to, you have to use a lot of it to sweeten stuff up. Can you still grow taller as an adult? Your growth plates fuse now. Your facial structure and your bone structure can change, but you won't physically grow taller. Manuka honey is just kind of like a marketing thing from my experience. What's the food highest in glucose other than your product? The highest would be like a 40% glucose grape. You know, there's no real products that are super high in glucose. There's nothing really high in pure glucose. Honey itself is probably the next best product, because most sugar sources in nature are half glucose, half fructose. You guys are asking me like really specific questions. I think grape juice is very high. Oh no, grapes have, like, as I just said, I think grapes have like 40 to 50% glucose, some sucrose. No, what is it? Yeah, some fructose and some sucrose. What about something like pure sugarcane? Sugarcane is sucrose. You still need to use sucrase enzyme to break it down and digest it. What's the video of tomorrow going to be about? A little surprise. Little surprise tomorrow. Just had some apple cider, gave me sugar sickness perhaps. I mean, sometimes it just, gut bacteria eats a lot of the sugar. Alright guys, I guess, well, you should review Anthony Mantello's debut. I'm tired of giving these assholes any more publicity. But yeah, I'm kind of tired tonight, so I'm gonna go for now. And I'll see you guys for Saturday's live stream. You didn't talk about lactose in the carbs video? Yeah, I should have touched on dairy and lactose. And dairy, lactose basically feeds your gut bacteria. Some people have the lactase enzyme and they can digest it, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. It's basically the same purpose. It's energy and feed your gut bacteria. Is there a cap on protein absorption per meal? Does high EMF and genetics play a role? Yeah, the EMF environment plays a role. How active you are plays a role. How much muscle you have plays a role. How many taking the protein digesting enzymes with the meal can help on that. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'll see you guys for